All right. So this is the third step in how to use AutoML tables. It's pretty easy, as a matter of fact. So in the first step, I activated the API. I only do this once per project, so I already did that. So that might take a few minutes. Then the second step is to actually, creating the data set. That might be time consuming. Depending on the size of the data set, we might be talking about hours. So I suggest that you do step number one, step number two before classes, or just get ready to spend a little bit of time working with this. So now, when you finish, you're gonna see the status that say latest import succeeded. As you can see, I'm still working on the class for tomorrow. And now I'm gonna click the data set that I created. So I don't have to import the data again because I already did so. Now the second part is to define the schema and to define which variables are the one I'm gonna use. Now here is gonna be pretty easy. What I have to do first is I have to determine which one is gonna be used is gonna be my target. So I want my target to be purchase. That's the column that I explored before, and that contains zeros and ones. Zeros if that customer didn't bought anything during Black Friday, or if the customer bought something during Black Friday. So I'm gonna select the categorical variable. So I'm predicting in this case a categorical variable, and that cannot have null values or missing values. I cleaned the data set before using data prep, so I don't have missing values anywhere. So I have to make sure that the numbers are correct and before I continue with my predictive model. You might want to specify different parameters, but you have seen analysis of consumer decisions, you know about the splitting the data in training, validation, and test. Google like to use 80-10-10. I use something 60-20-20, or I created a different set for testing. Either way, any one of you might develop your own a way of splitting the data. This is good. 80% for training, 10% for validation, 10% for testing. So we have like 500,000 records. So 80% of them are going to be used for training, or you can specify your own your own value. So you might also, keep working with other parameters, but at this point, if the data is clean, and you might not have to be able to assign specific weights, or change the way that the training is going to be performed. So we just clean continue. So when you do continue, you move into the next step, which is going to be the analyzing step. So in here, I can see there are 13 features, meaning 13 columns. I could ignore or delete one column if I don't want to, although I will rather work with data prep and making sure that the data set is ready for training rather than being trying to tweak in this system. So what I don't want is to do data preparation in a system that is not prepared for data preparation, if you understand what I'm trying to say. So I'd rather prepare the data set, getting that ready, and then after that, I will just do what I'm doing right now, which is just analyzing and training. That's the way I prefer to work like this, and otherwise it just get messy. So in here, I can see the statistics about the data, the number of missing value. I should have zero because I cleaned that before. The number of categories that I have in my data set, whether I'm generating new statistics, just to see that there is a strong correlation between one value or the other. In some cases, I might have to do some transformation in some columns, but that's out of the scope of this example. So what I'm going to do with this, I think I got the results right now. Let me wait a little bit. All right, so here I can see very low correlation. All right, so in the previous step, I had my data ready for training, and then I'm gonna go and click train. Gonna click train. I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna put a different name for this. Um, sorry, like so. Now the budget is important because for this, uh, I mean, from this, the training might take more or less time, but also it might cost more money. Just click one. This is not gonna take more than an hour, so I'm gonna click one. You want to be in a safe. You can see from 100,000 with to a million rows, you can use 1 to 6 node per hour. So I'm going to start with one. So I have time for this. I'm going to select all the columns, even though here I can deselect this product ID, and then user ID can be deselected. So now I have the one I need, right? So, and then I just click train the model. So the reason why I choose user ID and product ID out is because they have no importance in my model. So I'm gonna I wanna keep with the default features and gonna explain what the difference are gonna be on the optimization objective, and I'm gonna train the model. So depending on the size, this can take, as you can see here, it can take several hours. I will test how much time it take with one node. If it's too slow, I will recommend you to increase this. But I will say that try if you are doing this before classes, try one. If we're doing this in our class, I will tell you we need to increase the number of nodes. So I'm going to pause the video right here, and then after that, we're going to do the evaluation and the prediction. So I'll see you soon. So here we are with the model. I finished the training for this. It's not very accurate. I know why it's not accurate. Uh, uh, I will explain why later. Now this one took about an hour to do, less than an hour, like an hour and 45 minutes to run. This is with one node, and I'm training another one with 6 different nodes just to see how fast it is. It's still, too big for using in class. You can do this during throughout the week. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a smaller data set of about 1,000 records, so we can just do it in class and see what the next steps are. But it takes an hour, so an hour and a half, about that. With 6 nodes, it will take a little bit less, but it's not going to be minutes. Now, here is the model. I know why it's not that accurate, and it is not because these labels, zeros and one, this is whether or not the customer was purchasing or not, were assigned randomly. So therefore, this is a random number, and it is not predicting with 99% accuracy. So this is the reason why. But I wanted to make sure that you know the importance of or the process of running the AutoML using tables. And then what is fascinating about this is the prediction system. So I can use a batch prediction. In here I can get data, and to be honest, this is ready to go. This model is ready to go. Yes, it took an hour for training, but now it's ready to be used. I can get data from BigQuery, or I can get data from a CSV file somewhere. And it can be my, it have to be my cloud in my bucket, and then I get this training data, and I get a result either in BigQuery, or I can have it in another file. So this is what is called a batch. So let's say I want to predict, 1,000, whether 1,000 customers will buy or not. So I put the 1,000 customers, and then I get the predictions in another file right here. So that's one way, and the second way is using an online prediction, which is pretty good, but it requires to deploy the model online, and in here I will have to send the data online, so I can get the number. So depending on the type of online system that you use for this, You might want to customize this, but this is ready to go for doing predictions online, so it's pretty good. So I will have to deploy this model if I want to use a online system for this, and it will take a little bit of time. So it takes time, but it's not a lot. Remember, we were having 500,000 records, so we trained a machine using machine learning, and in an hour and a half, so it's not that bad. And now I'm gonna deploy it in the cloud so I can use online predictions. Like that, but right now it will work, and I will have to fine tune if I want to do this. Be part of a commercial application, something like that. I will actually have to do a lot of fine tuning on this. So this is how the process goes. Again, for the regular class, I mean, if you are in the online class, you can certainly do this. Just make sure that you give enough time for this to train. It take just allocate a couple of hours minimum for this, and then after that, you just go and do the prediction work with a prediction in a batch. And I will record another video on how to use the batch prediction uh, for this example. So this is everything. This is all for now. I will post another video on how to use the batch prediction using the AutoML table. Thank you.